So, good morning, everyone. On this occasion of Independence Day, we are presenting you with a roundtable discussion where we'll be discussing about India. We since independence we have developed a lot. While we were under Britishers, we were a depressed country. But since we have become independent, we have been ruling ourselves. Our own country people have been ruling ourselves. We have developed, we have progressed in several fields. But now, today, we are going to talk about various topics like culture of India, education of India, future plans and development of India, and also how India is going to look in the future. So, Priya, I'm going to start with you. A straightforward question. Uh, do you love India?
First of all, good morning, all. And since I've gotten this privilege to talk about a country as marvelous as India and the place where I was privileged to born in, I absolutely love India. There is no reason I would say that anybody would not, don't you?
Right, right. So, what is that one factor that makes you love India the most?
There are prolific reasons. There are several factors where I love India, but the major one has to be the cultural diversity. There are so many religions that are followed in India. There are so many languages spoken, so many festivals celebrated, but every individual is bonded by humanity. We have the level of tolerance for each other. The warmth we have for each other's culture is where we stand out from the other countries.
All right, amazing. So, what can you as an individual do to express this love? You've been talking about loving your own country, patriotic feelings. So, how can you express these feelings, this love for your own country?
As I mentioned earlier, we've been very privileged to have all the bounties of our nation. There are so many blessings that we have received, we have inherited from our culture, from our heritage. But the thing is that as a citizen of our country, we need to take pride in our culture. We need to carry the legacy of our heritage. We need to carry it wherever we go. We shall wear the entity of being Indian with pride. This is what we owe to our motherland.
Right.
Thank you
So,
very much.
an amazing answer. So, now we should, talk about the future of India, how India would look like a developed country. So, Karan, I'm coming to you. What do you think would India look when it's a developed country?
A very good question, Sukaran. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone as we are celebrating our 75th Independence Day, where we are commemorating our freedom fight struggle. All right, coming back to our question, Sukaran, I will not present you with a utopian vision where there is no struggle and everything is happy and in its purest form. Well, first of all, I'll start by asking a question for what is being a developed country. For me, it is rooting out the ongoing crises like corruption, environmental depletion, pollution, over exploitation of resources, which acts as a termite and hollow the base as a foundation of a nation. Secondly, I would also I would also like to point out a few pointers where India will make a good progress in research and development and science and technology, indigenization of machines, make in India programs and innovative technologies will be at its peak. So this is my vision of India in future as a developed country.
Okay, so that's an amazing vision. Um, so, you've talked about the vision. So, what are the factors, do you think, any two factors, which can either delay or, object this vision of yours?
After more than 7 decades of independence, the real question comes to the base. Have we really made as much progress as we have dreamt of when we made this country? There are many obstacles in our road to development. So first of all, I would like to point out the overpopulation. By 2040, the stats are high that India will overtake China as the most populous country in the world, and that will have its own consequences. This population explosion will have a ripple effect on our economy as people will be exponentially more than the jobs are being generated. and there will be many more problems in terms of basic housing standards, crowding of already crowded metropolitan cities, sanitation, and food and water. These problems will, raise exponential times as overexploitation, overpopulation. So the basic and the fundamental solution is for the government and for the people to spread awareness, where people who think that more and more children will be a good source of employment, good source of income, should understand that they are generating liability for the country. And from applying more contraception methods, these are the some of the few basic schemes. And second, I would say illiteracy. In fact, literacy will be at its peak in future, but literacy does not guarantee knowledge. Literacy does not guarantee knowledge. We should emphasize more on the vocal skill set, where people may generate employment for themselves. I would conclude by saying that this predicted vision is just a show of what has to come in near future. The efforts should be made by all segments of society, whether politicians, bureaucrats, or even a regular man in a small town or a regular man from a countryside. If India has to change, everybody should be a part of it and everybody has to change. Thank you,
Right.
Sukaran.
So amazing vision. So while we talk about developed country and illiteracy, so I'm gonna go to Saurabh. So Saurabh, I have a question for you. You know, Karan has talked about this illiteracy and education. So do you think that we Indian students are focusing more on the theoretical part and less on the practical things and also on other skills which are essential for life, for example communication and all of those skills? Do you think that the education system is where it should be, or do you think that there's some change which can help take this India to the vision that Karan showed us?
First of all, happy Independence Day to everybody, and it's the moment of great pleasure for India and moment to remember every freedom fighter that helped us for the freedom. And today, if we are talking here freely, it's because of the freedom fighters, their lives and their heart and soul that they showed for India. So we should remember them on this day. Let's come to the question. The question suggests that. What about the Indian education system? Is it good for India or bad? And does it supports the vision of Karan? So the vision of Karan shows that we need an innovative approach for the world. We need a strong base, strong pillars for the success of India. But the current education system is moreover a theoretical base. Now, if you learn the theory and you don't know how to practically implement it, that knowledge is not of any use. Anyone who is doing a job of an engineer, he knows the technical knowledge, he knows the coding, but if he practically doesn't know how to find the solutions from that coding, he cannot sustain in a company. Now the current education system is giving people with good degrees that they can take jobs, but with these degrees we can remain at manager level. We cannot grow above that. To make India a global leader, we need entrepreneurship. We don't need job seekers. We need people who will generate jobs, and people from the world will come at India and work for it. Make in India was one of that. Promoting entrepreneurship, you will not only give job to one person, you will create job for hundreds. Now, if you see, we cannot blame the education system for that. As a youth, we need to move ahead with the education system. We need to balance between. I have seen many people leaving sports behind, their research projects behind after grade 10th. Balance between these things. You give priority to your education, your literature education, but make a balance between them. Education system will change, it will not change. We cannot bring a revolution in education system. We can bring a revolution in ourselves. We can, if we'll stop innovating, if we'll stop participating in sports after grade 10th, then nothing will happen. Rather than blaming the government, we can create change at our step.
Right, amazing. So, having one sports period a week is not going to help you bring Olympic medals, right? So well said, Saurabh. Now I'm going to come to the culture of India. The cultures, the tradition. India is known worldwide for its cultures. So, Sarthak, I have a question for you. Do you see that this diverse culture, this, you know, a super rich culture is being extinct by mixing or bringing in the Western culture and other cultures in our country? Do you see a problem in that?
So yes, I do believe that the Indian culture is getting extinct as the years are passing by. As we know earlier, people used to have the joint families and all used to live together with love and care. But nowadays, people are living in small families, small nuclear families, which have been adopted by the Western culture, and due to which people do not have even family members also do not have time to talk to each other. Earlier, people used to live with each other with love and care, but now the situation is different. Also, yeah, today's youth people, youngsters, say use words like hello and hi instead of namaste, which totally shows that they have adopted the Western culture, and Indian culture is just getting extinct. But they also sometimes does not touch the feet of elders and even feel odd, which is very bad, as our we need to preserve our Indian culture. People also tend to wear Western clothes and and neglect the Indian traditional clothes. Like the traditional Indian toys like lattu or spinning top, which are not played in recent times. They were played earlier. These all things are depleting in such a way that Indian culture is getting extinct. So basically, we need to adopt the good habits of Western culture, but we also need to save our culture as Indian culture as well, and we need to preserve that. Like I will give you an example. One Indian student touched the feet of a US professor which shows that some people follows the Indian culture and they support it.
Right. Amazing thing. Um, so while we need to keep the modernization in picture, we also need to preserve our culture. So do you have any solutions for that?
Yes, so basically, we need to educate people about our tradition. We need to tell them that our Indian culture is such diverse that no other culture is. We need to make awareness through role plays and teach them about the Indian culture. Suppose like today, the youth of the country should come forward and also tell stories to the young children about our culture, about our diverse culture.
Right. Well said. It was a very nice discussion, and it really, makes us feel loved towards our country and be grateful to be born in a country like India, where you can find almost any kind of person with all diversities, and we still live in unity. So it was an amazing experience talking to all of you. Thank you, all of you, for coming. Jai Hind.